Hi everyone. In this video, I am going to talk about arrays in JavaScript. Now, before the coding part, let us understand as a test automation engineer why you have to learn array. For that, I am going to give you a simple example here. Let's assume that we have a test case where we have to check this sorting functionality of this fat button here. So now if you see, this is in unordered, right? So it's jumbled or it's random, right? Now when I click on this fat button, it is going to give me the values in ascending order. Now when I click this again, it is going to give me in the reverse order, that is in descending order. So we know how to do this manually, but how do we convert this into our script, right? So for that, obviously you have to learn arrays concept. To declare an array, we have to use the square brackets. For example, let fruits equal to, within the square bracket, I have to declare each and every value separated by comma. For example, this, okay. So here we have an array which holding some fruits names, okay. Now I want to know how many fruits are there in my array. So for that, I can use the property called length. So log fruits dot length. Okay, we got the value as 6. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that means while fetching the value, it starts with 0, but when we are going to check for the length, then it will be given in the human readable format. That means how many values we have, that many result. For example, here we have 6 fruits, right? So it is giving us 6. But if I try to access this, so I'm going to log and fruits, and here within the square bracket, I have to give the question. So here if I give 6, that is going to be undefined, because whenever you are going to fetch a value from an array, you have to do the -1 always, okay. So keep that in mind. So if I say -1, that is 5, I will get the value, right? Fine. So remember, to declare an array, you have to use the square bracket, whereas you have to fetch one value from an array, you have to use the same square bracket, but you have to pass the index of that array, okay. Now I want to display each and every fruit here. So what can we do? Obviously we can log that using console.log and fruits, right? So we'll get the value. Now I want to print each and every value, because if you see here I am getting this value within the square bracket, right, which indicates that this data type is obviously an array. Now I want to fetch each and every value. So for that I can use the loop here. So we didn't talk about the loops here, so I'm going to show you the easiest one, which is for each, okay. So here I can say fruits dot for each, and this for each is going to accept a callback and a index. Index is optional, so we'll see that later. We'll talk about callback in the next video. As of now, let's say that in this fruits we are going to get each fruit at a time. So I'm going to say each fruit, okay. Now we are getting the each fruit. Now I can use the arrow syntax or the fat arrow here, and I can log each and every value here. So I'm going to say each fruit, okay. So we got the answer. Now here you can see we are not getting any square brackets. That means we have fetched the value from the array, okay. Now just because we are using the Kyoka plugin, we are able to see all the result in the same line. But if you go and see in the terminal, you can see here each and every values are printing in different lines, okay. So don't get confused. Just to show you the demonstration, I am using this Kyoka plugin so that I no need to run each and every time, okay. So that is the use of Kyoka plugin. Okay, fine. Now we have seen how to declare an array, how to pick a value from the array, and also how to iterate each and every value from the array, okay. So Here we can do some manipulation as well, like we can add values, we can remove values, then we can do some other manipulation as well. Let us see that. Let's declare an array with number values. Okay, so here I'm going to say let, or maybe this time we can go with the const here. So const, and maybe I can say some numbers, and here I can say within the square bracket some numbers. Okay, so 4, maybe 8, 9, 7, and few others. Fine. Now we got our array. Now let's log this first. Okay, so I'm going to log this. So numbers. Fine. So I got the output as expected. Now let's say that I want to add one more value to this. Okay, so for that we have a inbuilt function called push. Okay, so numbers dot push, and here I'm going to say maybe 0. Okay, so fine, now the value has been pushed. So let's log again and check. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. Okay, so here we are getting this 421, that is my earlier value, and here the newly added value, which is nothing but 0. Okay, so here the push defines whatever we are going to add to this, it is always going to add in the last of the array. Okay, so that is, it is going to calculate how many values you have, it is going to take the length, and then it is going to add to the existing array. Okay, now in the push also we can add multiple values at the same time using the comma. Okay, so here I'm going to say 0, maybe 10, and then 20 and 30. Okay, so as soon as I push, I am getting the output here, right? So you can either push one value at a time, or multiple values at a time. Okay, now let's say that I don't want to add, rather I want to delete some data from the array. Okay, so for that I'm going to use numbers, and here we have an inbuilt function called pop. Basically pop is nothing but opposite of a push. So what does push do? It will add a new value in the last of my array, right? Whereas pop is going to remove the last element from my array. Okay, so and dot log, and here if I log this, so it will save you whatever the value it has been popped. So in the last we have 30, this 30 value, right? So it has been popped by this pop method. Okay, to confirm that I am just going to log the numbers again here. Okay, sorry, so numbers, yeah. So we got the output now. So here we can see the differences, right? So that is what, to be simple, push means we are going to add one value to the existing array in the last position, whereas pop is going to be the reciprocate of your push function. Okay, now let's say that I don't want to push in the last, rather I want to push in the beginning. Okay, so for that we have a method called unshift. Okay, so here I'm going to say numbers dot unshift, and within the unshift I'm going to give some value, let's say 50. Okay, so let's log this again so that we can see our output. Now you see 50 we got in the first position, that is in the 0th position. Okay, now similarly if I want to remove the first value, we have a method called shift here. Okay, so I'm going to numbers dot shift, and here I no need to pass any parameter as we did in the pop. Okay, so while pushing you have to say what is the value you have to push, but whereas where you are going to do the pop or the shift, you need not to give any arguments to it, because by definition it is going to remove the first value in terms of shift and last value in terms of pop. Okay, so let me log the numbers again. So now here you can see it has removed the 50. So in the unshift we added 50, and using the shift we have removed this 50 here. Okay, so I hope this makes sense to you, and this is pretty much easy, right? But wait a second, did you find anything different here? No? Okay, let me tell you. So here we can see that we are using constant, right? If you remember my second video, which is about let versus var versus const, I have said that whenever you are going to declare any variable with a const, then probably you cannot change the value in later on stages. Did you remember? But here I am able to do that, right? How is that possible? Confusing, right? It's very simple. In the next video, I will give an answer for this. For that, you have to learn something called call by reference and call by value. So wait for the next video. Now let's see another method which is similar to push and or unshift, I can say, but it is very interesting. Okay, so here numbers dot fill is the method. Okay, so in the fill I have to pass parameter. It can accept 3 parameters. Okay, so now let's give only one at a time. So I'm going to say 0. Okay, now here I'm going to log this. So log numbers. Now if we have seen, this has changed all the existing value within the array. Okay, so that means whenever you are going to use the fill, it is going to replace all your existing value with the given value here. Okay, now I don't want to change all my values. I just want to change few values from maybe from 0 to 3. Then I can say that here. Okay, so comma, and I can, let's say that I want to change from 1 to 3. Okay, so 1 and comma 3. Okay, so that is 1 is my starting position, whereas 3 is my ending position. Okay, so this is my first, right? 1 and 2. Okay, it is like again inclusive and excluding. Okay, so 3 is always excluding, and here we got the output as 0 0. Okay, so I believe this makes sense to you, and arrays are very pretty much easy. Okay, so let's move on. So we have seen all this in the manipulate. Okay, so now we are going to do some concatenation. Okay, so for example, let's say that we have this constant numbers and also we have this fruits. Now instead of 2 array, I just want only 1 array. Okay, so what we can do is we can combine both of them. Okay, so for that we have to use the concatenation method here. So if you remember the string video where I have also discussed about concatenation, right? So that is like exactly same. Okay, so here I can say let maybe another, or I can say new array. So new array, and here I can say numbers dot concatenation. Here I have to pass another array. Okay, so that is going to be my fruits here, right? Now let's log this new array. Okay, so we got the combination of both the arrays. So that is we have the all our numbers and then followed by all our fruits as well, right? So it is combination of string and in numbers, right? Okay, fine. Now in the concatenations, we can also add multiple arrays also. Not only one, we can have multiple arrays as well. For example, here I can say within the square bracket, I can say some like maybe I can say again 0 comma 0. So it is going to append in this array. Okay, so let me open my terminal here. So here you can see, right? So first we have this numbers, and then we have this string data, that is my fruits name, and then again I have this numbers. Okay, so you can concatenate as many as arrays you wanted to do the concatenation. Okay, fine. Now also we have another method called join. Okay, let me show you that. So here what I'm going to do is, so for example, let's take this one. Okay, so here we have all these fruits, right? So if I log this fruits, so if I log this, you can see it's saying that apple, mango, grape, and we are getting all the values, right? Now I don't want to display in this format, rather I want to display in some other thing. Let's say like I want to display in maybe apple and then followed by this equal to and greater than symbol and then mango. Okay, so we want our output to be in this format, right? So for that we can use the method called join here. Okay, so here I'm going to say let's log directly. So log and fruits dot join and within the parameters I have to give what is the separator I want. Okay, so here I am going to say within single quotes equal to and greater than symbol, right? Now if you see, we got the output as apple and then the symbol, and that is arrow, and then mango, then everything, right? Basically join is used to join the values using a new string, and it will give you the output as a string format. Okay, so this type, okay, if I check the type of this, so if I console.log, so console.log, and if I say type of, and this here, probably I will get did I miss some bracket? Yes, so I will get this as string, right? So this is what does the joins. It simply joins your arrays and it will give you in the string format. But let's say that this is our number, right, where we have numbers as a data type. So when we are going to use the join here, what should happen? Whether it is going to convert my data type into string, or it is going to convert or it is going to give the output as it is, right? So let's check that. Okay, so instead of fruits I'm going to make this as numbers. Okay, now if you see here also we are getting the string, because by default if you mouse over here you can see after the colon whatever there, that is what return type is. Okay, so in the next video we will also discuss what is the use of return keyword. Okay, fine.